Good evening, everybody. This is our host, Huge Pop, the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all the wild ones listening in, get ready to turn up the volume. Brace yourself because tonight's guest is anything but ordinary. He's a snarling sensation of Southern Illinois, the unpredictable outlaw of the squared circle, and the man who brings chaos with class. He is the wildest man in professional wrestling. From the heart of SICW with a howl that echoes throughout the locker room and presence that can't be tamed. Give it up for the one, the only Curtis Wylde and his manager, number one, Ginger Wildfire. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Get ready for some wild stuff tonight, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely. I'm sure you guys have a lot to get off your chest. We came here for one purpose, and that purpose will get brought up in a little bit. But we want to start out, as always, welcome to the Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast. Thank you for coming in. My first question of the day is, what was wrestling like for you two growing up as fans?
Do you want to kick it off?
Oh, man. Honestly, I wasn't really a fan of wrestling growing up. I watched it a lot. My cousins were big fans, so I would always watch WrestleMania and other pay-per-views throughout the year, but it wasn't something that I watched myself until I was a teenager. And then more so, obviously, after we met and I fell in love with the sport.
Yeah, and for me, the wrestling bug bit me at about 5-6 years old. So I was in St. Louis, and we were able to watch Wrestling at the Chase reruns and WWF at the time, World Class Championship Wrestling. Every now and again, we would see NWA and Wide World of Sports, things like that. So I saw a lot of wrestling. St. Louis is a wrestling city. So it was, something that really, the performance aspect of it, the entertainment aspect of it, really stuck with me. And, I went to Memphis a few years after that and got to see Jerry Lawler in the USWA when Jerry Lawler was the king of Memphis. And so that really continued setting that hook, and I just never really got away from it, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And you talk about the territories, it's something I think is missing from today's business, of the wrestling business, other than SICW, because SICW does a great job of sticking to the territories and old school wrestling. And that's why I love Herb Simmons. That's why I love you guys at SICW. You guys do.
Hey, thank you, man, because it really is kind of that territory feel. Like it may only be one organization, but he works with quite a few other larger organizations to make some great things happen. And so it really does kind of feel like the burgeoning of a new territory in the Midwest. I know that Herb Simmons works with Jason Jones down with Mid-States Wrestling in the Springfield, Missouri area. And he's also got connections with Troy Peterson up in Iowa. So we're actually going to go up there for the Thez Tragos Hall of Fame coming up this month. Actually, and right?
2 weeks.
3 weeks? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they can check that out on the web, the Hall of Fame up in Iowa. So, it does kind of feel like a little territory for me here. From time to time, we work with Greg Anthony down in Dyersburg, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And he comes up and works with us, and some of our guys go down and work with him, and it really is a territory waiting to happen, man, or happening, really.
Absolutely. So take us back. How did you guys start the journey into professional wrestling?
Well, like I mentioned, my journey started in St. Louis, seeing all that wrestling, and I would play with my action figures and make matches, and I had my card laid out of my cruiserweight matches. I was a matchmaker. I had my cruiserweight match, and then I had my midweight match and an intercontinental title type of match, and then I had my heavyweight title, tag team matches, and wrestled with my pillows in my grandmother's living room, and that got pretty crazy. She's actually heard the audio tape of one of the matches that I had, because I didn't just play with a pillow. No, I set up two audio devices. One of them to record one of them to play my entrance music. So I would play my entrance music at 5 or 6 years old, and I would come out and I would wrestle a pillow, and then I would give myself interviews.
All right.
And she can attest. She can attest. I was the California kid from St. Louis, Missouri.
Nice. I had a similar thing. My brother and I are like 12 years apart, and Saturday Night's Main Event was big back then when I was growing up as a kid. And I can remember it was Hulk Hogan and Sid Vicious when he did the Powerbomb, right?
Yeah.
And my mom told me, do not let your brother in this room. He's supposed to be sleeping. It's late at night. I don't want any of that. Well, he came in the room. Of course, big brother's not going to say no to little brother, you know. And I picked him up.
Why do I sense a power bomb?
I did. I picked him up and I gave him the power bomb. His feet went up, knocked down the light fixture on the ceiling. It came crashing to the ground. And guess who walked up?
Mom knew.
And guess who walked up the stairs?
Of course. Mom had an intuition. She was coming up the stairs before you guys did the move.
She did. She was. So SICW's been your home. What inspired your
last decade? The last decade. A little over 10 years we've been with SICW now.
Yeah.
So what went into the creation of Curtis Wylde, the Wildfire #1 Ginger?
Really natural evolution, to be perfectly honest with you, because how that came along was I was in upstate Illinois. I was in the Illinois Valley, and I happened to be the heavyweight champion at the time. I was the heavyweight champion at the time, and we had met through a mutual friend in wrestling, and she started coming to shows, and before you know it, she was getting involved because I was all in with wrestling. That was my life, you know. So she was right there with me, and before you know it, she was my manager and went on to train. And when she had an injury, she stepped away from the active wrestling thing and has been a manager ever since. I said that wrong. But the natural progression of it was that I went from Wild Child to volatile Curtis Wylde. Once I started growing up, once I matured a little bit in the business, and once I got a few too many grays to be called Wild Child anymore.
All right, now, do you ever predict yourself, Miss Ginger, to ever step in the square circle and do any singles matches?
Oh, I have. Yeah. I used to wrestle singles matches as a special attraction match a few times a year for Herb and also for South Broadway.
MMWA.
Back in the day. But after my injury, I stopped actively wrestling. So I've been strictly a manager since then.
Okay.
But she is a damn good manager. As far as managers go, she's one of the best, man.
I heard.
And I don't know if you've watched SICW shows, but there's a lot of managers that walk out there and they clap and they cheer on their guy, a little bit. But she is heavily involved in every aspect of my matches. The energy that she brings, I mean, as involved as I am in the actual moves and what we're doing in the ring, she makes sure to stay that involved on the outside of the ring and keep the crowd involved too.
I like her. I like watching her outside the ring more than I like watching Lucky Pete Larson. So I'm just going to say that out there.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to rub that in his face the next time I can.
Please do. Please do. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll tell him to put that in a pot and cook it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have you seen the episode of the TV show where I slapped him?
Not yet, but now I will go back and then I will repost that. I'll do a reaction to that and I'll put it on.
I got a little bit of revenge, just a little bit though. I think my hand's itching to do it again one of these days.
I think you need to.
Have you slapped Stephen E yet?
Somebody needs to.
Okay, so she is one of the few people who has slapped Stephen E, Travis Cook, and
Lucky P. Larson.
Oh, good. I'm proud of you. Thank you. Hats off to you.
Let's hear it for Wildfire.
So how do fans typically react when the Wild Man walks through that ring, walks through that curtain? How do they react?
Now
I'm gonna let her touch that one. I'm gonna let her take that one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, for the first probably almost 8 years of our career, seven-ish, with SICW, we were bad guys. We were heel. We were hated. They absolutely hated us. I remember one night, a lady reached out and grabbed a hold of my hair because she thought it was a wig. They would cuss me out. They would cuss him out all the time. I There was one night that we came out, and as soon as we came through the curtain, the boos and the jeers and the hate from the crowd was so loud and so visceral that it literally pushed both of us back,
Really?
and it was powerful. And that was,
Sound waves, brother. It
yeah,
was sound waves. We were pushed back by sound waves.
yeah.
Sound
But then,
That's
the pandemic happened, and then some other things happened, and kind of came around a little bit and had a bit of a change of heart, and we kind of get along a little bit better with our fans now, and I enjoy that aspect of it too now.
Let's not sugarcoat it, man. When we come out, they chant "Let's get wild." When we're out there, they chant "We got wild." When we're
Yeah,
leaving, they chant "We are wild." This crowd has connected with us like we never thought we would. We've connected with the crowd like we never thought we would.
yeah,
It's been a really special time, and a really special evolution going from that most dastardly hated villain to what's going on now.
wow.
yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So, what's been the wildest moment for you guys in SICW ring, other than the hair, other than the hair pulling?
There's been quite a few of them, but one that's extremely memorable is Ming actually coming to SICW, and it was after Ming had uh, joined Devastation Incorporated, joined Attila Khan, and joined Stephen E. And I was unfortunately able to hold off Attila for a period of time, and then before you know it, Ming came in behind me, and he caught me, and Attila Khan held me from the back of the neck as Ming came in with the Tongan death grip, and that's one of the more memorable things that's ever happened. Except I didn't remember it until I saw it on video because I was out. I mean, he put that thing on me, and it's like getting choked out in MMA.
Okay.
You wake up afterwards, and you remember that you were rolling, but you don't remember exactly how you got there.
Right.
Okay.
So it was that type of thing. And another memorable time was with Attila Khan as well. Was Tommy Rich was there, Wildfire Tommy Rich, former NWA champion, and I was in the main event against Attila Khan, and Attila Khan pulled out a fork and used it on my forehead like I was a meal.
Wow.
And I was bleeding so bad that I looked like a burn victim. And Tommy Rich was actually one of the people that came out that night and kind of helped out in whatever way he could, and that was just handing me, as far as I remember, and I was a little loopy at that time too. But I remember Tommy Rich handing me some paper towels or something to get the profuse blood that was pouring from me. Um, but that still is on my wrestler page. You can check that out, facebook.com/wild online. Um, and that's where you can follow us too. Somewhere around the time you go to sicw.org and check out SICW.
Awesome. So those are kind of like your toughest matches going since you've been in the business, I'd say.
Well, you asked what is the most memorable matches, but
So now the toughest. What was the
the
toughest match?
the Attila one was pretty tough, man. But I think the tough can be gauged in over a period of time thing, especially
Okay.
when you've been doing this thing since '99, like I have. And toughest opponent would probably be a better thing than toughest match. And Attila Khan is one hell of a tough opponent, but as far as over the period of my career, Sean Vincent had always been a thorn in my side, man. Up and down the roads and all around the St. Louis area, all around the Midwest, in SICW, and, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Heroes and Legends, and we took that thing all over. And um, a lot of memorable times came out of that, but as far as measuring a tough opponent, he didn't go away. You know, I mean, so
I've had him on my podcast, and it was a hard one, man. It's all about him. It's all let's talk about how good Sean Vincent is. Let's talk about how he never goes away. And, you know,
Yeah,
right. We've tried to get rid of him many times.
and we've seen both sides of that, and we've usually been on the absolute opposite side of where he stood. So the fact that in SICW right now we're kind of maybe getting a little trust for each other, and at the TV that's actually happening right now that we're running head to head against SICW TV on YouTube. There's a 6-man tag, and there is some. Some cohesion that I didn't expect.
Absolutely. So, what is your take on the direction the SICW is going now compared to when you started?
I think it's done nothing but build, man. I think it's just been a shot straight up from the time that we got there. What would you say?
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. Not that it was ever anything negative. It's always been wonderful. It's always been a great company to work for. It's always been our home. But the things that we've been able to do over the years has been really incredible. We've been able to do things that nobody else in professional wrestling has been able to do. Even guys who work for WWE, you know, most of them haven't wrestled at the Chase Park Plaza, you know. Actually on that note, to this day, I'm the only female professional wrestling manager that I know of who has worked a match at the Chase Park Plaza.
I hear great things about the Chase, and
That was beautiful.
I want to try to get up there and see that, and meet all you guys from SICW. I tried for like a couple years to get to the Fan Fest.
Oh sure, yeah.
And even to Cauliflower Alley Club, but again, with working in childcare, you only get so many days off a year, so you have to.
Right.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of other special opportunities that come out of just being with SICW, like the Worldwide Technology Raceway has come to SICW, and we're doing matches there now a couple times a year, it seems like, and that's a huge deal. Sometimes it's with NASCAR and the National Hot Rod Association, NHRA, and it's a really special time those shows are, because I mean we're in a golf cart, we're in a suite getting dressed, so those memories are really cool to form, and then we're actually fortunate enough to be on the first wrestling show ever at the Missouri History Museum.
Really?
And I was in the first match ever.
That was to promote Ed Wheatley's coffee table book about wrestling at the Chase, which also features SICW and a lot of SICW talent.
Yeah, and it was a big proponent and or part of the PBS special, the Head Over Heels, I believe it was called, and SICW was actually featured in that PBS documentary.
Yeah.
All right, and now you're writing a book too. Did I hear that right?
Well, yeah, I'm dabbling, and yes, I have written some books. I wouldn't call myself an author. I'm just dabbling with doing author stuff.
Okay. So, who has been some of your guys' influence? Who's been your major influence on your wrestling career? Both of you.
Jerry the King Lawler for me.
Oh, well, for me, there's been so many because they're over the eras. The women in wrestling have comparatively been so few. So the ones who really stood out to me over the years were always like Lita, Victoria, Mickey James, Beth Phoenix, and then you go all
the ones who could work.
Right.
Imagine that, right? You go all the way back to on the manager side, right? Miss Elizabeth, all of the women who really paved the way for what I do, and not just in the ring. Precious, Baby Doll, both of them and their work outside of the ring, absolutely incredible. And I feel like being able to watch the matches that they were a part of and their work over the years, being able to watch that now has helped me build and form my character and what I do.
You named some great wrestlers. I mean, my wife's favorites are Lita and Trish Stratus. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we got to see them at River City WrestleCon last year. So.
Cool.
Well, I'm surprised that she could handle it, man, because for like the first 15 years of our relationship, wrestling was probably the most watched thing in our house.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't watch a whole lot of uh, wrestling that was going on at that time. I would watch history, historical wrestling, classic wrestling, old school wrestling. So,
All right.
um,
But
it
he
was a
doesn't just watch wrestling; he studies it. He is a student of the art.
Yeah.
yeah.
You have to be.
It's got to get annoying too because I'll rewind it and be like, "Look what he did there. Now pay attention to this. I want you to see this, and this is why he did this." And it's got to get annoying. It really does.
Well, my wife, I do the same thing to my wife, and she's starting to watch a little bit with me, but
Yeah.
she will pick it apart. Like if they miss a punch and they act like it, she picks it apart. She's just
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what
Well,
are
I'll
your?
be honest. I'm not too forgiving in that stuff either. If they're gonna put it on TV, it better look good.
Yeah, right, absolutely. So what are your goals and aspirations within SICW? I know there's one big goal, and I'm
Yeah.
sure we're gonna get ready to talk about that. What's the goal for Curtis Wylde in the world?
I think I'm living my goals. I think I'm living my goals every step of the way. I did some math today. I think we're at 330 days. Me and Billy McNeil as the SICW Tag Team Champions. I've been the Bruiser Brody Memorial Battle Royal winner. I've been the SICW Classic Champion, which is the top prize in SICW. And now once I get that Central States Championship from Glenn Williams on July 12th and the main
Right.
event at SICW, Collinsville, Illinois, I will be only the second Grand Slam winner in SICW history, and that's huge because
Good.
SICW has been around for close to 50 years or so. So
You mentioned the Bruiser Brody Battle Royal winner, and that Barbara Goodish. How did that feel to just get that win under your belt, man?
Oh man.
well, see, at the time, how it happened was I was I was a dastardly villain at that time. I had no redeeming qualities. I was not very kind to very many people, except her, really. And
Not
maybe
even me.
well, maybe the
Be
limo driver.
honest.
Maybe yeah, not even her. We would do media, and she would try to talk, and I would take the microphone out of her hand. I was not a very kind individual, but when I won the Bruiser Brody Memorial Cup, for a second, I thought I was going to turn over a new leaf. So I thanked the fan, and let's rewind just a touch, because Dr. D. David Schultz happened to be there as well that night. Barbara Goodish was the one that was going to present the Bruiser Brody Memorial Cup. Dr. D was there. He came out to also join her for the presentation to whoever won, and I won. So they came out, and I thought I was going to have a temporary turning of my leaf, and
Right.
I started to thank the fans for coming out and for making SICW what it was, and for cheering us along every month and month in, month out, really giving us our due and supporting us. And uh, then I realized that I thanked absolutely none of them because I did it myself at that time. That's what I believed. I was the only one to thank. She even held the Bruiser Brody Cup. And I looked at the reflection in the cup and said, if there's one person I need to thank, it's that reflection right there. So I was horrible. I was a horrible person, and I deserved what I got right after that because I turned around. I told Barbara Goodish that it was about time that someone with my notoriety and a star of my caliber held the cup with her husband's name on it.
That didn't go
And she slapped my face into the fourth row. I got angry. I got angry as I would a lot at that
right.
time. I turn around, I come back, and Dr. D, David Schultz, is standing there with his fist balled up. So I kind of, exited very gracefully, very gracefully. And once I got out of the ring, I started yelling back at him that I was not John Stossel because I wanted him to know. But I'm a different cat now than I was then, right? Yeah,
Mostly.
mostly. Yeah.
So this came to my head. The fireball. There's one individual in that at SICW. Have you ever received the fireball?
Well, that's one of the biggest moments in SICW history. It's one of the most viewed episodes on SICW TV, and I was unfortunately, hit right in the eye with an with the fireball, and my eye, I actually lost sight for about a month and a half or so. And then when I came back, I was able to get my sight restored. But yeah, it was not a good month and a half. You know, when a fireball hits you in the eye and you're having to wear an eye patch, it's a little more tough to take a left when you're driving. You know,
Yeah.
so.
But you didn't deserve it, though, did you?
Well, I wouldn't say. I mean, Stephen E was throwing fireballs at a lot of people at that time, and Devastation Incorporated was trying to run roughshod. And the things happen, and I think that we got a modicum of revenge, but I don't think that that's really been a door that we've closed because I still like to get my hands on Stephen E.
Me too.
Her too.
Oh, well, you're gonna be able to verbally say what you want because we're right in the deep end of the SICW talk. And if some individual wants to know how it felt to have your leg broken by LA Hustlers.
Oh.
Wow, coming from a blast from the past. And you know why they're in the past? Because me and Billy McNeil put them there. That's why. And it was after they broke my leg. It was after they attacked me and they put my leg in a steel chair. And one of them jumped off of the second rope and broke one of the bones in my leg. But I was able to come back. I was able to conquer adversity, and before you knew it, me and Billy McNeil teamed up, and the LA Hustlers. Not only did we take their titles, but it seems we ran them out of town. I take that back. They came back for a rematch. We beat them again, and off they went.
Mhm.
Well, that same person wants to know why you and Billy McNeil are hiding in singles matches and not putting that belt up against LA Hustlers or the professionals.
Well,
Their
see,
reason-
they might not understand this, but when you're a champion and you excel at what you do, you raise in the ranks, you rise up. You know, the cream always rises to the top. So even though I'm a tag team champion, even though Billy is a tag team champion, we are still contenders for all the championships in SICW. And I'm sorry if they aren't.
I'm just reading the questions. I just have the questions. And
Oh,
this
no,
same
no, I'm not killing the messenger.
Them in forever.
I'm not killing the messenger.
and
Where
this
are
sa-
they? If they
this-
want a shot, where are they?
I don't know. They wonder where you're at.
We're the same place we've been every month for the last 10 years.
we don't-
SICW.
And those are colors that don't run.
So this same person would like to know when the wildfire is going to cook him a meal, cook him something to eat.
Oh, for some reason, I'm betting that Lucky P. Larson has made his way to the comment section.
Oh,
And let's just say that that's probably. Wait, you know when that's going to happen? I'll tell you when it's going to happen. How about we're going to send you a little package, and you're going to take that package, and you're going to ball it up real nice, and you're going to put it in a pot, and you're going to cook it your damn self, Lucky P. Larson.
about as close as you're gonna get.
That same person.
Or a pot in the face.
He's just coming. He's just coming. He's got
I'm
them
waiting for it.
lightning fingers.
That same person wants to know if the wildfire learned how to be a real lady from seeing Missy Wyatt. Missy Hyatt.
I think that he misspelled Hyatt because he's not too smart for a lawyer.
He wants to know if you're going to become a real lady.
Well,
And mentioned
Lucky's-
Missy Hyatt in that sentence. I don't think that should happen.
Lucky's gauge of real women is quite skewed, so I don't really use that as a measurement tool.
I think what she means by skewed is that the only women that he knows works on the east side, and they usually don't have a top on. You feel me?
Feel ya. I'm telling you, it's going to get dicey. I'm sorry. I do my research, and I just ask the questions, my guy.
That's right. And he doesn't even go to good places. He goes to places that they need wax on their chin. You know what I mean?
So I'll name this name. Dave Ruby wants to know, Can you tell us about your best experience at a show you had for Mid American Extreme when you came onto the wrestling scene as a wild child?
Wow, that's a
Well,
name from the past.
that is a blast from the past. That's when I came to the St. Louis scene as Wild
Yeah.
Child. I had already been wrestling for about 5-6 years at that point, maybe a little longer. I don't remember the actual math, but Mid America Extreme was one of the first places that offered me a home when I got to the St. Louis area, and I have a warm place in my heart for Butch and Pam. And shout out to the Fletchers.
First company in St. Louis I ever worked as a manager.
Yeah, true story. But I think one of my favorite memories there, and well, Sean Vincent was a thorn in my side even then.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that.
All the way back then.
That was 20 years ago. So that guy's just been
Wow.
hounding me, and now
Jeez.
it looks like if you can't beat him, join him, and that's what he's trying to do right now, I think. But one of
We
my
always did want to be one of the cool kids.
one of my favorite memories was towards the end of Max, actually. She was my manager, and I was in a championship match for, I believe, the Intercontinental type championship, the secondary championship in the organization. And she was instrumental in that match, even though I didn't come out with the heavyweight title. And we did a little thing where I put her on my shoulder and carried her around the ring, and that was probably one of my more memorable times in Max.
Yeah.
Sir Jimmy Harris Sr. has nothing bad to say about you at all. He, matter of fact, says he wants to know, how do they manage raising their amazing children and able to run a business and maintain the level of training they need to be professional wrestlers? They both are amazing people and a lot of talent in and out of the ring.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy. I
That's
appreciate
awesome.
that.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
absolutely.
You do have people that like you. So other than that,
Well, he's a great guy. He was a referee for MMWA South Broadway, and we've maintained a friendship since then. So
To answer that, we just do the best that we can at everything that we do and schedule our lives around all the things that are most important to us, which is, obviously our regular jobs, our children, and wrestling, and everything else just kind of flows around that. When it comes to the kids, they've been raised in the locker room. Our oldest is 13 now, and the first show they went to, they were 3. Our youngest will be 4 in September, and their first show, they were 5 weeks old and sleeping in Curtis's wrestling bag in the locker room. We actually have a picture from that night of Ming holding our son.
well, they were locking up. He wasn't. Oh yeah, there is a picture of Ming holding our son,
That's,
but I also have a picture of Ming locking up with our son.
yeah.
And the way that we got the picture of him holding our son is it was the first time that I had met him, but I was holding my son, and he walked into the locker room. I said, "Here, have a baby." So the most feared man in wrestling was handed a baby as me.
And I looked across the room, and I grabbed somebody that was standing next to me. I said, "Is that Ming holding my son?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "Somebody get a picture of that for me, please."
Nice.
Yeah, and that's one of the other things we were touching on earlier with how special SICW. An opportunity like that doesn't present itself at an ordinary independent organization. And you never know what might happen at SICW. Who might come through at SICW? At the last show and set of TV tapings, we had Wildfire Tommy Rich again, and he was involved all weekend long. He went up to Shawneetown with SICW and went to war with Attila Khan most of the weekend. And he was just hanging out, 3 days straight, just hanging out with the SICW crew.
Great guy.
And with the Fan Fest, you get the opportunity to rub shoulders with the legends in this business. We were at the Fan Fest. And were you at the Fan Fest this year?
No, I had to miss it.
Okay. We were at the Fan Fest, and it just so happened that my table, our merch autograph table, was set up right next to the Rock and Roll Express.
Wow.
So all day long, we were hanging out with Ricky and Robert, man.
Wow.
That's you can't get that at most organizations. And Bob Orton is in the St. Louis area. He's offered to teach me how to play cribbage. How many people could literally pay Bob Orton to do that? I doubt he would do it for money.
And that just speaks volumes on Herb Simmons and what he's put together as a promoter, and and the consistency and the honesty and the fairness that he does, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not just a company; it's a family organization.
Correct, absolutely.
And Herb has always conducted his business with dignity, with honor, and that word gets around, man. After you've been in this business as long as he has.
Yeah,
absolutely. So here's the real question. One of the real questions is: you just got a haircut from Big Nasty Glenn Williams.
Got to rub it in.
I do. I was asked to ask you about that.
Of course you were.
Oh, who asked you? Lucky P. Larson again?
The one who shall not be named.
No, Herb Simmons asked me that.
Oh,
hi Herb.
Yeah. Well, I'm not taking too kindly to it. I mean, I'm doing the best I can do to keep it maintained.
I
and
like it.
She likes it. So, I like what she likes, but I don't like the way that it happened. I don't like that I was held down by, I don't even remember real well, 2 or 3 guys. It's on SICW TV. I'd have to watch it back. But the cut man, the scissor man was Glenn Williams. And he took those scissors and he cut my hair. And you don't realize how personal things get in independent wrestling, professional wrestling, until things like that happen. And I mean, then it got personal. Then it got real. Then he changed my appearance. Like that was a 3.5 year grow. I don't know if you've ever grown out your hair or had somebody who you were friends with that had long hair, but imagine that being taken from them against their will. And that's the revenge and retribution that I'm going to be looking for on July 12th when I got Glenn Williams in the squared circle 1-on-1 in SICW.
You think he'll stay 1-on-1?
Man, if it don't, then more people are going to get hurt.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's that simple.
If he's smart and doesn't want anyone else to get hurt, he'll make sure.
Because the hair is one thing, and that's what made it personal. He cut Billy McNeil's hair too. Yeah. Billy McNeil's my tag team partner. That made it personal. But there's still the classic or the Central States Championship on the line. There is still the second ever Grand Slam winner on the line, and I could be that. I could join the gorgeous one, Night Train, Gary Jackson, in that top tier of SICW. I'm 1 win away, and I am just days away. 6 days. In 6 days, Glenn Williams is going to step foot in front of me. He's going to step foot in front of me with that prize on the line. July 12th, Glenn Williams, I hope that you survive because you have a family.
We'll see.
I'm not sure that's the last time you're going to talk to Glenn Williams through this microphone because I got some questions.
He's going to have to learn that choices have consequences.
Right. And I have some questions from Glenn Williams too. So.
Oh, all right.
I'm sure that's not the last.
It's about time that his mouth works because after his last show, apparently his fell off.
So Bobby Wylde wants to know, why do you think your hair was targeted?
I think he's just an opportunist. I think that he's a piece of garbage scumbag that just saw hair and had a target. They were going to cut Billy McNeil's hair. He was actually handcuffed to the top rope. I came out to make the save and prevent them from doing that to him again. I brought out my tag team title with me, and while I wasn't looking, in the process of kicking all of their asses, one of them grabbed my belt and caught me in the forehead, and it got a little hazy from there, but I saw the footage, and Glenn Williams is the one who cut my hair.
I don't know. I think there's some jealousy there. I mean, look at Glenn. The only hair he can grow is that rabbit on his chin, right? He doesn't have anything up here. So why else would he target the men in the locker room who have nice heads of hair that he's not, that aren't so much bigger than him?
You know what? I think she's onto something, man. I think that this thing is a conspiracy theory. Let's start a hashtag. Glenn wants hair.
Glenn wants hair. When I do this, when I upload it to YouTube, I'll have Glenn wants hair hashtag.
That's great.
Absolutely.
We'll do that.
Make it a thing.
I think there may be a website, glennwantshair.com.
I'm gonna write that down. Glenn wants hair.
Anybody out there want to do it? Go right ahead. Let's get
Dang
that going.
So I hear
Viral that stuff.
you're a website designer. I hear.
I have been. I've been doing that. Just started that a couple weeks ago, legally.
Right.
Well, I've been doing freelance work for certain people for a long time, making websites, and for myself a lot too. But making websites, making posters, editing video, and doing promotional packages and things like that. Um, and I just decided to bring a lot of those tools together, and incorporate it with some tools that is coming out with AI, because AI's got a lot of fun toys that we can play with these days, man. And I don't know how many people are looking into all those fun toys. So I am, and I'm interested, and I'm intrigued, and I'm learning all about it. I'm learning what prompt engineering is. It sounds like a fancy word. It's just learning how to talk to AI.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
I've decided to put all that together, and now I have Wild Vision LLC, and I have an EIN number. I can hire employees. I am legitimate as legitimate can get. So people should definitely go to facebook.com/wildvision, and then WYLDE Vision, and check out what's going on there. They can get a website built. They can have a video package done for their business, or and maybe their art if they're an artist or something like that. Send me a video. I edit it, put together a great package, and you'll have a good promotional tool. I can do that with images too. So it's just been things that I've learned with wrestling. It's been a gift that wrestling has taught me over the years. You learn how to be a shameless self promoter. So I learned how to do and use the tools of shameless self promoting. I've been using it for a long time for my own purposes, uh, and I've decided to funnel it all together and try to make a real go at that.
Okay. So
Wild Vision, and let me plug another thing, wildvision.com. That's where the website's at. And the websites are so much faster than most other websites, 8 times faster than Apache servers. I work with Lightspeed servers, so go to wildvision.com and load through the pages, check it out. It's going to load quick.
So, question for you about your websites. Do you think a wrestling podcast guy like myself would benefit from his own website?
I absolutely do. And I'll tell you why. Because 82% of people trust websites more than they trust any social media. That's 82%. That's huge. Trust is a huge thing in business and commerce and e-commerce. And in building an audience. So yeah, absolutely. If you were looking at doing something like that, we could talk in a off-air situation. But a website is definitely going to be helpful in building a business, having a good domain name, being able to have something that's easily searchable. But one area that I'm learning, that I'm just starting out, is the advertising and SEO aspect of it. So as far as that kind of stuff, I'm not really that much of an expert, but I can find the experts that I need to find to fulfill the things that I need to fulfill.
We'll have to talk about that at a later date, man.
All right, great.
So now we're going to go into what Sean Vincent had to say.
Oh no.
No, it's not bad.
Hold on. Last time I saw that guy, we were fighting back to back.
You're right. All right.
It's not bad. I'm pretty impressed that he was your best man in your wedding.
He was too.
That's true.
He was too. I bet you was.
Yeah, he was pretty impressed that he was the best man at our wedding.
Yeah, I bet you was. It's probably all about him, right?
Well, at that time, I think for a short period of time, we might have seen eye to eye.
So he mentioned to me, he says one of his first wrestling finishes was called the Weapon X. Some believe that he resembled Wolverine from X-Men with the way he styled his hair. So there that hair again is. Yeah. So now, were you often referred to as Wolverine?
Well, I was, compared to Wolverine quite a bit. It didn't help that I shaved my chin hair a little Jeff Hardy style. Or my facial hair a little Jeff Hardy style, so it kind of looked like blades and resembled Wolverine. And I didn't mind the comparison. I liked Wolverine. He was my favorite Marvel character. So, yeah. And the hair has always been a constant, man. I've probably had hair, let's say, don't tell your audience, but I'm 45 and I probably had hair about 38 years of my 45. So it's been a constant. And for Glenn Williams to have cut it off, he's going to have hell to pay. He's going to have hell to pay July 12th in SICW. And the Central States Championship's on the line, but so is his ass, whether he realizes it or not.
Yep. It's going to be as red as his chin hair.
Well done.
So we're going to talk about that match and what Glenn Williams has to say. And then I have some questions about Glenn Williams. I'd love to hear your opinion.
Sure.
So, how would you describe Glenn Williams' wrestling style, and how do you plan on to counter him in your upcoming match in July 12th?
It kind of reminds me of the Kool-Aid Man.
She's pretty right on with the Kool-Aid Man. But if I had to get deep and really analyze Glenn's wrestling style, I would have to say lacking. And not on my level. It's really that simple. Glenn's only been around about 3-4 years, and while the kid's coming along, he's not there yet. He is not on the level to take out volatile Curtis Wylde. The Lion of the Lou, the Wolf of West County, the Spark of Forest Park has another thing in mind for Glenn Williams Saturday night, July 12th. So Glenn Williams, shine the belt up real nice. Get it ready, because this former classic champion, this former Bruiser Brody Memorial Cup winner, this current over 330-day SICW tag team champion is going to take your ass to the woodshed, son. And there ain't nothing you can do about it.
And I hope you're listening. I mean, so I'm just going to ask one quick question again about Glenn Williams. Do you have any level of respect for Glenn Williams' career and accomplishments in SICW?
He's not bad on the microphone. he is a fairly entertaining cat. And you know what? I might have really enjoyed Glenn Williams until he wanted to direct his attention at me. And that's absolutely the very last thing that Glenn Williams ever should have done, because he wanted a long career. I'm sure when he got into this, he thought to himself, I'm going to have some longevity in this business. And then he went against me. Then he decided to go one-on-one with the Wild one. He decided he wanted to step on through to the Wild side. First, he got on my radar when he cut my tag team partner's hair. And then he had the audacity. He had the intestinal fortitude just in that second to cut my hair. And there's only been one other time that has ever happened in this business in my over 25 years. And he got his ass whooped too. So Glenn Williams, study history, son. Understand that there are simple things that are always going to be true. And one of those things is when you step on through to the wild side, you are going to get wild.
So Glenn Williams would say to me that, number one, the haircut he gave you looks better than before. He should be thanking him instead of bitching about him. He feels you should be thanking him for this haircut, but yet you're still complaining and bitching and complaining and bitching.
To be perfectly honest, I do, not mind the fact that she likes it. I appreciate the approval. So that's something that I appreciate, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You hold a man down, you cut his hair off. It wouldn't have mattered if it was the hair on my head or the hair on my chin. It's still going to be a personal shot. It's still going to be something that is going to require retribution and revenge, and that's exactly what Glenn's going to get. But here's the thing. I think that maybe I'll bring some shears. Maybe I'll bring some scissors, and that chin rat that he's got growing, maybe that comes home with me. Maybe not only do I take the SICW Central States Championship, but maybe I take that rat off of his chin and I bring it home with me. Maybe we'll put it in a cage. Maybe.
Now this is getting personal, right?
Yeah.
These belts, these tag team belts, because he gets personal about these tag team belts that you are claimed to running and hiding with.
Mm-hmm.
He says he's beaten you and Billy multiple times, which by proxy makes him the tag team champion.
At the same time?
And I'm pretty sure the only time Glenn Williams has ever pinned my shoulders to the mat was when Trent Daniels was holding my feet outside the ring. So if you want to count that, I mean, cowards will count anything.
Sure.
Okay. He has also made the point to say that he will go to the Wylde side and shut that shit down for good.
Oh.
He'd have to get through me to accomplish that, and he don't want none.
Those are big words coming from a guy who looks like Mr. Potato Head. I mean, let's be honest. The crowd's already chanting "Potato Head, Potato Head," so they're seeing it before I've even said it.
And now it's going to be Glenn wants hair. Glenn wants hair.
Hashtag.
Hashtag Glenn wants hair.
Hashtag Glenn wants hair. We're gonna get there, man. And the thing is, the guy, he really reminds me of somebody famous, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. I couldn't really decide who it was. Do you remember a guy named Yahoo Serious? He did a movie called Young Einstein.
Yes.
Okay, you remember his hair, red and crazy and straight up?
Yes.
Yeah. Now picture that on a man's chin. For your audience, that's what Glenn Williams looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cut it off.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe. I bring a Gillette with me or some scissors. We'll see.
Well, Mr. Glenn Williams.
Glenn is going to have to wonder. He's going to have to worry. He's going to have to go to sleep every night trying to think about what I'm going to do to him because of what he did to me. Well, decisions have consequences, Glenn. Decisions have consequences, and the very last thing you should have done was wanted to lock horns with the Lion of the Lou, the Wolf of West County, the Spark of Forest Park, and swim in the deep end because you are not a shark, son.
Let's see that. I want to see the reaction to this one. He says, Mr. Williams claims that he is the most watched, most talked about, and most envied wrestler to ever walk through SICW, and he's the greatest Central States champion to ever live.
He took a lot of words to say that he is the team move version of Curtis Wylde.
Okay. You're that, Glenn Williams. You're the team move version of Curtis Wylde. And you better be watching yourself, Glenn Williams, because he's going to bring some scissors, possibly, and cut that rat of a beard off. And you have to get through the Ginger wildfire to get to Curtis Wylde. And you're trying some antics. Beware. You got some looks like a badass chick that's going to be on the outside waiting for you.
Hey, you asked earlier if I was worried about the numbers game. Maybe he should think about the numbers game. I got the number one Ginger by my side, and she has always, from day one, watched my back.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a couple more questions, but I want to remind you, SICW, July 12th, the Central States Championship is on the line between Glenn Williams and Curtis Wylde. It's more than it got personal last week when he took Curtis Wylde out while he was down and out. He cut his hair. He's getting personal, and now Curtis Wylde said enough's enough. It's time for him to get personal, and you better be prepared, Glenn Williams, because it doesn't look good for you. I would just say that. So
I'm gonna say it right now. July 12th, the bell is at 7 p.m. Doors open at 6. We're going to be at the Collinsville, Illinois Fireman's Hall. And about 2.5 hours after that, Glenn Williams is going to step into the square circle with the Lion of the Lou. He is going to put the Central States Championship on the line, and SICW is going to witness Curtis Wylde become the second ever Grand Slam winner in SICW history.
He wants to make sure you understand this, Mr. Curtis Wylde, that you should be thanking him because over the past 2 months, your name has been his name's been constantly coming out of your mouth, and he's finally relevant because of it.
Oh,
he's finally relevant, not us.
No, Curtis. No.
No. See, it's the other way around. Glenn is finally relevant because this has been relevant longer than anyone knew Glenn Williams' name.
I mean, the kid was probably in diapers when I was on my
Oh,
island of relevancy.
well,
So Glenn, why don't you get a paddle? Why don't you find a canoe or dig one out of your ass and float on out to my island of relevancy and figure out exactly why you are not on my level, son. You're never going to be. You can step up to the plate and you're going to strike out every single time because they say that you will miss every shot that you don't take. July 12th, you're going to get your shot at an SICW mainstay, son. You are going to get your shot at the line of the loop. You are going to find out what the wild side is all about, uncensored in living color.
I'm speechless, but I have to say this last thing, man.
Oh, do you? No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I have to. Well, first, I'm going to say this last thing for some fun stuff. So, what hurts more, getting a chair shot or stepping on Legos?
Well,
Those are different body parts. You can't really compare those things.
and that's kind of like asking what hurts more, thumbtacks or fire. They're just two, and she's right. You can't compare those things.
All right. Second question is, and these are just off the top of things I ask all my my wrestlers: is a hot dog considered a sandwich?
Ask Glenn Williams because that's what he's going to get paid in for the rest of his wrestling career.
I knew that was going. So, set aside Glenn Williams. What's your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, man?
Why would I have to set aside Glenn Williams? He's way aside, brother. Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore. I'd probably have to put The Rock on there in the way that he kind of transcended the business in so many ways. I would put Jerry Lawler on there. He definitely has taken over Hulk Hogan's once held spot, especially in recent years. I'm not as enamored with the Hulkster as I once was, so he's not quite on my Mount Rushmore anymore. Made a lot of money, but if you're going to go with that direction, you're going to go with Stone Cold because Stone Cold did it as well. So Stone Cold, The Rock, Jerry the King Lawler, and Shawn Michaels because nobody could outwork that man. Nobody could on the big stage show up and outperform Shawn Michaels when the chips counted. And to be honest with you, you look at my style. I styled myself a lot like Jerry Lawler, so that's one of the reasons that he belongs there. And Shawn Michaels gave me a little bit of that mindset, that showstopper mindset, like you put in your post. I've got the mindset that I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do my very best to give every fan in that building their money's worth. If I was the only match on the show, I'm going to give it my all, my 110%. And I think that I've been that way my entire career.
So before I give you the last comment from Mr. Williams, I would like to know what kind of match can SICW fans expect to see when you and Glenn Williams step into the ring for that Central States Championship?
It's going to be a barn burner.
Barn burner, slobber knocker, you can use those words. It's going to be serious. It's going to be violent. It's going to be memorable. So Glenn Williams, I hope you got a camcorder going, man. It's going to be smash mouth. It's going to be a sledgehammer to the forehead. Even if I don't find a sledgehammer, Glenn Williams, you are going to feel like you got hit with one. Because the next day you're going to wake up and all of the dreams that you've got of your name and lights, all of the glitz and the glamour that you once hoped for is going to come crashing down. Reality is going to set in and you're going to realize that you weaseled your way to the Central States Championship. And then you hit a brick wall named Volatile Curtis Wylde.
I'm supposed to remind you that everywhere he goes, he's the star of the show, in his opinion.
That's where in his opinion.
Yeah, but what he's missing is that everywhere he goes, all the people are saying no. He's just been mistaken.
That's all the questions I have. So I'm
Well,
going to
that's really what he means. I mean, there's English, there's French, and there's Glen Ease. And what he really means is, I wish I was Curtis Wylde. I wish that I could be the star that Curtis Wylde is. I wish that I could be on the level that Curtis Wylde is. I wish that I could be the caliber wrestler that Curtis Wylde is. I wish that I could hold his jock. I wish that I could tie his boots. I wish that I could be anything like Curtis Wylde, but unfortunately, son, you never will be. You will always be and forever be the Timu version of Curtis Wylde.
There you have it, folks. A Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast was blessed by the Wildfire Jinja and the Curtis Wylde.
Thanks for joining me.
Over the last hour.
Thanks for
heard some about his career. We heard about where his fans, and we mostly heard what we were here for. His thoughts about his hair, what happened with Glenn Williams, and what Glenn Williams will have to face on July 12th at SICW Central States Championship.
Yeah, Glenn Williams, you want to be relevant, son? Come get your relevance.
So I would like to ask Curtis Wylde one last thing, if you could do this to close the show. I'm going to ask you to speak to the fans, one, tell them where they can find you. And if there's a promo you need to cut to go leading into the July 12th, go ahead and do that. I will say goodbye to the fans. I will play some music, and please don't go nowhere. I would like to talk to you off screen.
All right, sounds good.
The floor is yours, man.
July 12th, Collinsville, Illinois. SICW, the main event at SICW is going to be Glenn Williams one-on-one with Curtis Wylde. Volatile Curtis Wylde. Little nasty Glenn Williams are going to lock horns. We're going to go one-on-one for the Central States Championship, and everybody is going to see exactly why Curtis Wylde is the next level in SICW. See, I was always the leader of a new generation, and then I got a little bit older, except I didn't get, broken down. I got more experienced. I got sharper in the tooth. So Glenn Williams, when you step up to the plate, July 12th, you're going to strike out, and you're going to find out that you get bit when you step on through to the wild side.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast, and as we always say, Huge Pop Wrestling is for life. This is the hottest indie wrestling podcast around. Thank you guys for jumping on the show with me. Thank you for all the questions answered. I love you guys, and good luck on July 12th. I don't think you're going to need it, but it's Huge Pop Wrestling Podcast for life.